chaotic scene here. There is a person deceased, and our police department has been in touch with the family. But most importantly today, it's really a testament to the men and women in the police department, the fire department, the state police, all of them working together as a team. It's a minor miracle that no one on our police side or the fire side was hit today. There are a lot of rounds exchanged, a little bit of luck involved, but a lot of training. It's a testament to the skill of our men and women in uniform. There are a lot of residents, a lot of neighbors that are extremely thankful for the work that the police department did, as well as residents throughout the city. As chaotic as the scene was, it could have certainly been worse. And on behalf of all of our residents, we're just thankful to all the men and women in uniform that showed up at the scene and did an amazing job. As you know, there were rounds exchanged, and then there was a fire in the back room. The police believe that the gentleman was in that back room. A lot of the circumstances are still to be determined. It's an ongoing and active investigation, but I just want to stress and thank the amazing skill, the amazing training, and the amazing work done by the men and women in uniform today.
How about the fact that there's a school right over here too, and it looks like, was that the interim superintendent directing traffic, did we see? Or it looked like there were, I think so. Can you talk about just the neighborhood and the school aspect of it?
Yeah, so talking, just listen to some of the neighbors out there. Let me tell you, it was a very scary, very frightening scene, and this could have easily been much worse. And that's what I mean about there being a lot of really thankful, appreciative neighbors, and in a sense throughout the city. Once the full sort of circumstances, are revealed and become known, there's just going to be a lot of thankful people throughout the city. It's unfortunate there was one person deceased, but in the grand scheme of things, there could have certainly been a lot more, and we're thankful there were.
Yeah, so early morning, the Providence Police gets a call that we have an individual here along with he had a son and a daughter. He assaulted both of them, and so they responded and started to investigate. And then the police officers, first responding police officers that were at the house, were able to there were grandchildren there and a couple of his children out of the house, and then he barricaded himself in. And so luckily we were able to get our SRU team, our SWAT team, called. And we got a lot of resources here really fast, and so we surrounded the house and controlled as much as we could to get more resources. We asked the state police to bring their vehicle that is able to get our personnel and their personnel closer. And so we knew who he was. He had suffered from some mental health issues. He's 61 years old, Scott McLean. And we're trying to open lines of communication with him. We weren't successful. State police and their vehicle, we started talking and attempted to engage a conversation, which is a typical tactic. He wasn't engaging with us. We tried various things. We were here for several hours. And at one point, we didn't know where he was. We threw OC in the bedroom in which we thought he was. We knew there were 15 guns in the house, along with some rifles, so that was a great concern. It was quiet for a while. We didn't know if there was any movement or where that movement was. When we threw some gas in, it took a while. Then we saw some movement in that bedroom, so we knew he was there. And then shortly thereafter, he opened fire on our police officers, repeatedly and continuously. So there were volleys, and we were in a position, thankfully, as the mayor said, they positioned themselves for safety, but he was shooting at our police officers that were in close proximity to where he was in that back bedroom. And the tool that the state police brought some resources close to the house, right up against the house. They were taking shots at that vehicle. And luckily, that vehicle you can't penetrate that vehicle with gunshots. We continued volleying back and forth when he was shooting. We returned fire. We evacuated the homes in and around. We knew that some homes were occupied as well, but he was opening fire at our police officers, we believe, and it put people nearby in danger. And thankfully, nobody got injured. There wasn't a police officer injured or hurt, and there was no civilians in and around. We alerted the neighborhood, asked everyone to shelter in place, so we didn't know what he was going to do. This isn't the first time we're dealt with a barricaded subject, and we always hope to engage and have him or her surrender. In this case, that wasn't happening, and there was hundreds of rounds that were fired by him, and we had to return fire. He then the back bedroom that we knew he was in engulfed in flames. Again, we weren't sure if he was still in that bedroom. We thought he was, but we weren't really sure. He has just fired at police officers, and so we had to maintain, the Providence police officers and the state police had to maintain their tactical position and assess where he may be. We had the fire department here and rescues here all night, and when the fire began, we again had to make decisions so our firefighters weren't put in harm's way, not knowing where this individual is. We knocked the fire down from the exterior. We were able to get in, and he is deceased on that second floor back bedroom. And so we have a lot of investigation to do. The Attorney General's office were called, the state police are here, but the protocol for use of force is put in place. So we're going to investigate and determine exactly what happened. Don't know who the guns belong to, and we do know that he does not have a criminal history. So there's a lot for us to do. We also know he's been treated for mental health issues as well. So again, kudos to the law enforcement officers that train just for this, but in my nearly 40 years, I've never seen something like this.
Is this in any way tied into the murder earlier this morning?
No, it's not.
You haven't seen something this intense?
Never in my career. The commander and I been police officers for a long time, and we were sitting at the outskirts, but we could see the house, and we both in amazement looked at one another. Both of us have never seen shots like we have seen at police officers for that period of time, and we prayed that none of our officers were hit uninjured. Lieutenant Potter's the OIC for the Special Weapons Unit, and it was him making calls, conferring with the commander and I, so our police officers are not put in harm's way. There was a lot of firepower coming from that back bedroom from Scott, and we're thankful none of our officers got hit.
Was this like textbook, something you trained for and learned but hope you never have to use, or was this kind of like an intuition thing, like, all right, what do we do here, what do we do here?
Look, we don't get fired upon like we have, but they do train for it, and they do those scenarios in the event, and so it goes back to training, and it's the training that put them in the most safe position to end this violence. Why he did it, I don't know, but this isn't typical. And the number of weapons that we believe are in that house and the firepower, both with rifles and handguns, I don't know why it's there, but it was used against police officers today. And that's what they're up against. And this isn't the first time that we've had barricaded individuals that suffer from mental health.
Did the family tip you off that there were weapons inside, or I know you knew of him in the past?
So when we pulled the daughter and son, they gave us a little bit of insight about his struggle most recently and his mental health. And of course, we always ask, are there weapons in the house and how many? And so they told us that, yeah, there's a safe and there's up to 15, if not more, weapons. Any other questions?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great.